Thank you all for joining here today. From the service team, we do hope you are healthy and well. My name is Matt Mayberry, and I will be hosting today's webinar, going over our integration with Backgrounds Online in your service account. We do have a number of our team on the call to help with questions. Please feel free to use the chat during our time to ask those questions, and we will do our best to address those either throughout the webinar or during the Q&A at the end. In today's call, we're going to be discussing how to run a background check through your service account. We're going to talk about the different types of background checks that are available. We're going to be reviewing background check statuses, managing applications, restricting registrations based on the status of a background check, as well as the pricing information. We want to be respectful of your time, so let's get started. To introduce, I would like to talk about the company that we have partnered with. It's Backgrounds Online. One of the things that was important to us as we were reviewing potential people to integrate our software with was a company that was going to be doing more than just a database search, a company that was actually going to be doing the legwork to protect you and your organization. The mission, if we were to read here from Backgrounds Online, they say, the mission is to provide background check screening solutions that empower organizations to make informed decisions, maintain safe work environments, and protect their brand. They are accredited by the National Association of Professional Background Screeners, and they have been a leader in the background screening industry for 20 years. This is the special landing page here with Backgrounds Online for service customers. This is special pricing that our users get in partnership with Backgrounds Online. This is about half the cost of what the normal regular price is for the different types of background checks that you can do. This page will be sent out to you if you would like to get some more information from them regarding what it looks like to do background checks, what types of options are available from them, and get your account created with them. At the bottom of this page, there is a contact us for a quick response. This is the best place to start if you're interested in getting some additional information from Backgrounds Online, or at the top of the page here, you can go into create your account if you want to just get started with them. So we are going to be looking at our demonstration account here as we are moving through what it looks like to use the background check integration inside of Service. If you are brand new to this, you don't currently have your integration enabled for your Service account, there are a couple things that would need to take place to get that done. We do have a support article that talks about this on the support page of our website. There is no cost to enable the integration of Backgrounds Online in your service account. There's no annual cost, there's no setup cost for this. It is just included in your subscription with us. The same thing is also true with Backgrounds Online. Once you create your account with them, there's no cost for that account. You only pay for the background checks that you order. Once your account is created, there's some additional information that you'll need to get from your Backgrounds Online account, and then that information gets input into the system configuration of your service account. Once that's done, then you will have the option of being able to go into the view and manage background checks here from the main dashboard. We're going to start at the top of the page here. So if you are interested in running a background check or ordering a background check on a user who is already in your system, once you start typing, you'll be able to do a name lookup. It will populate, of course, with that person's information, and then you can specify what type of a background check it is that you would like to order. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. If it's a brand new volunteer and you want to enter them into the system and order that background check at the same time, then over here on the right, you'll have the option to add a volunteer profile. Fill this out as you're familiar with other places in our system, create that volunteer profile, and then you'll have the option to order that background check like we did just a moment ago once you click that submit background check there. To talk a little bit about some of the different packages that are available, you'll notice as I pull this drop down here, we've got a number of different options that are built into this demonstration account for you to be able to see. Backgrounds Online has a few different standard options that are the regular background checks that are processed. You can see that information here and what is covered as a part of that background check. So, the basic, standard, and comprehensive. But they also have a number of other options that are available for the type of information that you might need to search for on your volunteers. So if you are needing to, say, running a motor vehicle report on your volunteers because they're going to be a driver with you or that type of thing, you can create custom background checks as well that have information that is specific to the role or the activity that that volunteer will be filling with you. And so once you create those custom background checks inside of your Backgrounds Online account, those will become available as a custom check from within your service account. So as you are getting that configured, getting your Backgrounds Online account configured, that will all carry over into this direct integration inside of your service account. When you order a background check for a volunteer, that volunteer will get an email that will prompt them to submit the rest of the information that will be required for the background check to be completed. The typical turnaround time is 3 business days for a background check to be done. The background checks are going to include whatever information you've ordered from that specific background check, and then our system will pull the status of those background checks, or we will check the status of those once a day. And that will show up here. You'll see the status of those checks on the right. If you want to check the status manually, you can do that down here at the bottom of the page as well. And once a background check is completed, you will also get a notification from Backgrounds Online as those background checks are being completed. Now, once you have a background check back on a volunteer, you have a number of options for how you can interact with that. So from here, I could choose to view the report for the background check that we had ordered on a particular volunteer. This will give you the download directly inside of, again, your service account. So you'll have all of that information available here. And then you'll have options to mark this as well. So I could then mark this as passed. And in this example, then Stephen would be marked as passed. We would also add the date that the background check was completed to the volunteer's profile and update the background check status field on that volunteer's profile as well. If for some reason you need to cancel a pending order that you have the options from here where you can select whatever background check it was that you might have ordered by mistake, and you can cancel that order over here on the side. If you cancel an order within 30 days and the volunteer has not yet completed the information, there will be no charge for that. So do just be aware of that. But if you, for some reason, mistakenly order a background check on an individual from inside your service account, you do have the option to cancel that order here as well. Now, as background checks are being completed, then you will have options now to also, of course, restrict registrations by those. And these are pretty familiar to you as you're building new events into the system. You'll see these options here for restricting those registrations. And so then you'll have that, of course, available to be able to set those restrictions and be able to control people who are signing up for opportunities based on the status of their background check. Again, as those background checks are being completed, you also have a number of options for how you can interact with that information under the advanced search. So we're going to go into the advanced search here. And as we expand the volunteer background check options, at the top, we get just some of the standard options in here. So the pass, failed, pending, more info expired, you set those statuses inside of the system. If you've marked a volunteer as passed, then it will get marked as passed here. If you need to do searches based on when a volunteer had completed their background check with you, and down here at the bottom, you've got some additional options. So we could search for volunteers who had a background check last year if we wanted to. So if we were coming in and we need to do annual background checks on volunteers, then I could go in and say, I want to find everybody who had a background check in May of last year that was ordered. And so I could go in and search by that month if I wanted to. But then we also give you options for polling based on the background check date. So if you wanted to go in and do a search for all of the volunteers whose background check is older than 12 months, and you could go in and do this search here. Now, with these options, again, just as a reminder here for all of you, let's say that we had gone in and we did a search for everybody whose background check was older than 12 months because we need to redo a new one. Then we could come in and then we could do a bulk update on all of those volunteers as well to mark their background check as expired if we needed to do that. To talk a little bit about the pricing here related to the background checks. So you get charged on the next billing cycle for the background checks that you order. And you also get charged for outstanding orders that are not yet completed, which goes to that point of canceling. If you need to cancel an order that you mistakenly did, you need to do that within 30 days. And then the custom checks, the pricing is going to come directly from Backgrounds Online. So if you are ordering things like motor vehicle reports, or if you have, people who are going to be working in certain environments where certain types of checks become important or necessary, then those types of custom checks are the pricing for that will be determined by Backgrounds Online. And that's something that they can help you out with as you are getting your account created with them. It's pretty straightforward as far as what that looks like inside of your service account. That's what we were hoping to be able to show you here today. We're going to open it up here to some Q&A. So if you've got some questions that you would like to ask, please feel free to submit those in the chat, and then we'll get those filtered over here and get them addressed. So currently, the way that the background checks work is you as the organization will get billed and pay for all of those background checks as they're ordered. We are working with Backgrounds Online on a way where you can have the volunteer process the payment for the background check, so they could pay the cost of that background check when you've ordered that. So if your organization is in a situation where you would like the volunteer to cover that cost, that is something that we are in the works on currently. We're working on that with Backgrounds Online to make that available to you. But currently, the way that it works is that you as the organization get billed for all the background checks that you order. One of the other things that we wanted to share is that if you are unaware of it, inside of your service account, we do have an option to enable a paid event, an activity that will require the volunteer to process a payment as a part of their registration for that opportunity. Typically, when you are enabling that event type in your service account, there's a one-time fee for that. If you are enabling those paid events as a part of using it with your Backgrounds Online, so where you could have your volunteers pay for their background check using our paid event feature, we are waiving the cost of enabling that paid event in your service account. And so if that's something that you'd like some more information about, then you can always feel free to reach out to our support, and we'd be happy to let you know what that looks like. But in that way, that would allow you to create an activity type where you could have the volunteers sign up for it and process a payment to help defray some of the cost of those background checks that you might be processing on your volunteers. So one of the questions that was asked was, can you use this for employment candidates? You absolutely can. Backgrounds Online has a number of different areas where they do work. So if I were to just kind of pull this up, they do everything from healthcare and regular employment verifications, staffing. I mean, really any type of background checking that you might need to do. To do a background check on a potential employment candidate, then you would, of course, they would need to have an account inside of Service. You can add all of that information to do that. The Service account, the minimum is that name, phone, and email. And then once you build someone in with name, phone, and email, you can order a background check. And once you order the background check, the rest of the information required for that background check will go directly to Backgrounds Online. So you could build someone in with as little as their name, their phone number, and an email address and process a background check on them. And again, the cost of this, there's no ongoing cost for this. You only pay for the background checks that you do. So even if you're only going to do one of them a year, then you will only pay for that one background check that you do. There is no startup cost for Service. There's no ongoing cost from the Service side. And there's no cost to create your account with Backgrounds Online as well. So you only pay for the background checks that you process. So the system will also not mark background checks as expired automatically. So if a background check has expired, let's say that you are required to run background checks every year or every 2 years, that type of a thing, there's no automation to that. So our system is not going to automatically mark that background check as expired. But once you have the option to go in and search for those background checks and then expire, you can mark them as expired as a bulk update if you need to. All right, just checking in with our team here to see if there are any other questions that they have not addressed in the chat here. So the question was asked what access level you need to have to be able to order a background check. So when ordering background checks, admin can order background checks, leadership team can order background checks for the volunteers that they have access to under their profile as well. Those people who'd be logged in as admin or leadership team, then those folks can order background checks on the volunteers that they have the ability to see in your account. The question was asked about admin access for your account. With any user of service, we do not charge any licensing fees based on the number of administrators in your account. You can have as many admins in your service account as you need. So if you have somebody else on your team who would like to be able to process background checks, and maybe that's all that they're going to be doing, you can always add additional administrators into your account. We do not charge you based on the number of admins who you have in your service account. And so when you're building that new person in, just remember at the bottom of the page here to give them the access level that you would like them to have. Administrator being the highest, leadership team you can use as well. Leadership team, again, you would have the option to restrict what volunteers or activities that person has the ability to see. And we thank you all very much for joining here today. If there's anything, again, any other further questions you might have about this, please do feel free to reach out to us. I hope you have a great rest of your day.